There's just 4 teams left standing in the NFL playoffs, so the vast majority of the league is now looking ahead and planning for the offseason. It's time to start thinking about the 2024 draft, so today we'll be taking a look at the first round and exploring what each team could choose to do with their pick in our first mock draft of the year. With the first overall pick, the Chicago Bears select quarterback Caleb Williams from USC. Justin Fields took a step up in 2023, but it's clear that Chicago isn't going to reach the heights that they're shooting for with him. They have a unique chance to grab a generational quarterback and give him a roster that's already shaping up to be very good, so they should take that without thinking twice. A move like this will make them a perennial threat to make a deep playoff run. With the number 2 pick, the Washington Commanders are selecting quarterback Drake May from UNC. The Sam Howell experiment was a failed one in Washington, and now they're going to have to look for a new starter if they want to stay semi-competitive in 2024. Luckily for them, Drake May would be the quarterback 1 in a lot of drafts, and they'll be lucky enough to grab him with the second overall pick in this scenario. At number 3, the New England Patriots will select wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. from Ohio State. I know a lot of Patriots fans want Jaden Daniels here, but that feels like a reach to me. Not to mention, it's not going to matter who's playing quarterback if they have no weapons for them to throw to. Marvin Harrison Jr. is the definition of a generational talent and is the top overall player in the class, in my opinion, and his presence would instantly change this offense for the better. With the 4th overall pick, the Arizona Cardinals are selecting offensive tackle Olu Fashanu from Penn State. Arizona could choose to go with a wide receiver here, but since it's a deep class of wideouts, they'll instead choose to take their pick of the litter among the offensive linemen. Fashanu would have been a top 10 pick in last year's class had he declared, and pairing him with Paris Johnson Jr. will help to secure this front 5 for years to come. At number 5, the Los Angeles Chargers are selecting wide receiver Malik Nabers from LSU. Justin Herbert needs help. Keenan Allen isn't getting any younger, Mike Williams is inconsistent and is going to be coming off a torn ACL next year, Austin Eckler looks to be entirely washed, and Quentin Johnston has turned out to be a complete bust. Malik Nabers would be the top wideout in most draft classes, and having him on this offense would help to open things up and allow Herbert to reach his full potential. At number 6, the New York Giants select quarterback Jaden Daniels from LSU. I know the Giants just signed Daniel Jones to a big contract extension last offseason, but they still need to make this move. Danny Dimes just clearly isn't the guy for them and is now coming off a torn ACL, so they'll grab one of the most dynamic playmakers in this class in Jaden Daniels. The Heisman winner can do it all for New York, and the next step will be to surround him with some half-decent weapons. At number 7, the Tennessee Titans are selecting tight end Brock Bowers from Georgia. This isn't the biggest position of need for the Titans, since they already have Chiggy Okonkwo, but when a generational talent falls to this pick, you've got to take them. The post-Mike Vrabel era is underway in Tennessee, and drafting Brock Bowers will give Will Levis a competent weapon outside of DeAndre Hopkins, who's going to be 32 next season. With the 8th overall pick, the Atlanta Falcons are selecting edge rusher Laiatu Latu from UCLA. Atlanta would ideally pick Jaden Daniels here, but they just missed on him in this scenario and will instead settle for UCLA's Laiatu Latu. The senior put up a staggering 13 sacks through 12 games last year, and assuming he passes his health check at the combine, the Falcons would be smart to take him to bolster a front 7 that logged the 4th least sacks in the NFL last year. At 9, the Chicago Bears select wide receiver Rome Odunze from Washington. Odunze's draft stock has been steadily rising over the past few weeks, and Chicago seems to be a popular destination for him. It makes sense to surround Caleb Williams with as much talent as possible, and he'd be a great complement to DJ Moore on this Bears offense that has severely lacked star power over the past few years. At number 10, the New York Jets select offensive tackle Joe Alt. This is a dream come true for the Jets. Their season got derailed last year when Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles in the first game of the season, so it's imperative that they get him some real protection in 2024. Alt is arguably the best offensive lineman in this entire class and would be a huge upgrade for them on the blind side of their line. With the 11th overall pick, the Minnesota Vikings select defensive tackle Jerzon Newton from Illinois. Priority 1A for the Vikings will be to re-sign Kirk Cousins in free agency this year, but assuming they're able to do that, the next thing they should address is the defensive line. The interior was a weak spot in 2023, but luckily for them, they'll get the top defensive tackle in this class without having to trade up at all. At number 12, the Denver Broncos select edge rusher Jared Verse from Florida State. Michael Penix is still on the board for the Broncos here, but I don't think that Sean Payton wants to restart with a rookie quarterback. So they'll instead choose to address another position of need here and shore up the defensive line. First is an exceptional talent who could be the top defensive player in this entire class. With the 13th overall pick, the Las Vegas Raiders select cornerback Nate Wiggins. The Clemson cornerback is a fast, fluid, and smooth player with a lot of prowess and instinct in coverage, which is exactly what the Raiders have been missing. He'd be a great player to come in and help change the culture in Las Vegas under their new head coach, Antonio Pierce. At number 14, the New Orleans Saints select quarterback Michael Penix Jr. from Washington. The Saints would be smart to fix up their aging defense with this pick, but I don't think that they'll be able to resist taking Penix if he's still here. Derek Carr has turned out to be a train wreck for the Saints, and even though they're not going to be able to get out of his contract for another year or two, it wouldn't hurt having him on the roster to mentor the young quarterback. At number 15, the Indianapolis Colts select cornerback Kool-Aid McKinstry from Alabama. Indianapolis's offense should be better next year with Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor back to full health, so they'll focus some of their draft capital on improving the defense. We've known that Kool-Aid will be a first-round pick for the better part of 2 years at this point, and he projects to be one of the safest prospects on that side of the ball in this entire class. At number 16, the Seattle Seahawks select edge rusher Dallas Turner from Alabama. The Seahawks won't have a high enough pick to grab one of the quarterbacks, and it's too early for any of the offensive linemen to come off the board, so they'll go with one of the best players left in Dallas Turner. He has a rare mix of size and speed, and if he can refine some small parts of his game, he could develop into one of the league's best edge rushers in no time. At number 17, the Jacksonville Jaguars select cornerback Terrion Arnold from Alabama. Arnold really got a chance to shine as a full-time starter for the Crimson Tide this year, and he made the most of it. His draft stock has risen significantly, and there's a lot of people out there that think he could be the top defensive back off the board in April. That's obviously not the case in this scenario, but his talent is still too good for the Jaguars to pass up at this price. At number 18, the Cincinnati Bengals select offensive tackle J.C. Latham from Alabama. After yet another season-ending injury for Joe Burrow, the Bengals need to finally get serious about upgrading the offensive line. Orlando Brown is under contract for another few years and has the left side of the line secured, so they'll go with Latham to play right tackle. As an added bonus, he'll significantly improve this running game for whoever's running beside Chase Brown in 2024. At number 19, the Los Angeles Rams select offensive tackle Amarius Mims from Georgia. The Rams have yet to find their franchise left tackle after Andrew Whitworth's retirement, but they're able to get their guy here. Amarius Mims has all of the physical tools necessary and has as high of a ceiling as any offensive lineman in this class, so they're lucky to be able to get him with their first-round pick without having to trade up at all. At number 20, the Pittsburgh Steelers select offensive tackle Talisa Fuaga from Oregon State. The run on offensive linemen doesn't stop here. The Steelers picked Broderick Jones in the first round in 2023, but someone like Fuaga could help to fully solidify it. He would allow Jones to move back to left tackle, and maybe this move could help the Steel City to actually get a strong running game established for the first time since Le'Veon Bell left the team. At number 21, the Miami Dolphins select offensive lineman Troy Fautanu from Washington. The Dolphins get in on the offensive lineman action and take Fautanu to patch up the interior of the line. The Dolphins will need a lot more than this to get over the hump, but this is a good value at this point and will help to keep Tua healthy if he's still under center for them in 2024. At number 22, the Philadelphia Eagles select cornerback Cooper DeJean from Iowa. The Eagles completely collapsed towards the end of the season, and a big part of that was the terrible play in the secondary. James Bradbury couldn't make a tackle to save his life, and Darius Slay is getting old, so getting a dynamic young athlete like Cooper DeJean would go a long ways in helping to restore this defense to its former glory. At number 23, the Houston Texans select edge rusher Chop Robinson from Penn State. Robinson played well enough in 2023 to solidify himself as a potential first-round pick, and he's a guy that Houston could use to help fix up their defense. The offense is in good hands with CJ Stroud and Nico Collins leading the way, so finding a way to get pressure on the quarterback should be one of the team's biggest priorities this offseason. With the 24th overall pick, the Dallas Cowboys are selecting cornerback TJ Tampa from Iowa State. Tampa is a bit of a sleeper right now, but I imagine that people are going to start picking up on just how good he is closer to the draft. He's a lengthy and athletic outside cornerback who projects to be a perfect replacement for an aging Stephon Gilmore. At number 25, the Green Bay Packers are selecting offensive lineman Tyler Guyton from Oklahoma. It appears that the days of David Bakhtiari might be over in Green Bay, and even if he sticks around for another season, they'll need some fresh blood on the offensive line. Guyton is the best lineman left on the board, and it would be smart for the Packers to invest in Jordan Love's long-term health after he emerged as a possible franchise guy for them this season. At number 26, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select edge rusher Braylon Trice from Washington. The Buccaneers hit big when they took Kalijah Kancey in the first round last year, and now they should double down on the defensive line by taking Braylon Trice from Washington. He's a big and athletic edge who would be a worthy successor to an aging Shaq Barrett. With the 27th overall pick, the Arizona Cardinals select wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr. from LSU. Arizona passed on Malik Nabers earlier in this mock, but now they'll get the next best thing by taking his partner in crime, Brian Thomas Jr. Thomas has all of the athletic potential in the world and led college football in touchdowns scored last year, and if Arizona can develop him properly, he could turn into the true alpha wide receiver one that they've been searching for in recent years. At number 28, the Buffalo Bills select wide receiver Troy Franklin from Oregon. The Bills suffered a devastating loss to the Chiefs again this year, and they're going to need some serious firepower if they ever want to get over the hump. It's clear that Stephon Diggs is losing a step, so Buffalo would be smart to bring in an explosive playmaker like Troy Franklin to try to add a spark to this offense. His speed and overall explosiveness would add a true downfield threat that they were lacking all last year. At number 29, the Kansas City Chiefs select wide receiver Xavier Legette from South Carolina. The Chiefs respond to the Bills here by taking another dynamic playmaker in Xavier Legette. Look, the Kadarius Toney experiment seemed like it would be fun, but it turned out to be a complete disaster, and now they need to give Patrick Mahomes a weapon that he can throw to outside of Rashee Rice. Legette really broke out his final year at South Carolina, and he could come in and be their wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2 immediately in his rookie season. With the 30th overall pick, the Detroit Lions are selecting cornerback Quinyon Mitchell from Toledo. Mitchell's going a bit more under the radar right now, but it seems like people are finally starting to pick up on just how good he's been. He's a perfect fit for the Lions, who once again have had an underwhelming secondary this year, despite throwing a lot of money at the cornerback position last offseason. At number 30, the San Francisco 49ers select offensive tackle Jordan Morgan from Arizona. Trent Williams is still the NFL's best offensive lineman, but he's not getting any younger, and the rest of this line needs a lot of help. Arizona State's Jordan Morgan would be a good candidate to patch up this offensive front and eventually replace Trent Williams whenever he retires. With the 32nd overall pick, the Baltimore Ravens select offensive lineman Graham Barton from Duke. Baltimore boasts one of the most complete rosters in the NFL, but one place they're still lacking is on the offensive line. They have holes in multiple different places, and Graham Barton could be the perfect fix to that. He projects to be able to play multiple positions on the line, and that kind of versatility would go a long ways in helping Baltimore to establish a more effective rushing attack in 2024. Now we've made it through every pick in the first round, so that's going to do it for our first mock draft of the year. What picks would you have changed? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching this video, and be sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, goodbye.